Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and I have the always incredible, best ever in the universe co-host, Paul Vato. Hey, Paul, how's it going this week?
It's wonderful. Happy holidays, everyone. I'm so excited. I'm in Vegas, so the weather's not bad, but it's still, I wish I could see snow for the holidays, but maybe next year.
Maybe next year. We got some snow up here. And so, yes, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas to everybody. You know, I celebrate Christmas, so it's wonderful. And speaking of wonderful things, because it's Christmas and we're still celebrating, Paul, we have a very special VIP in the building, Tamia Dow. She is a film director, best-selling author, actress, producer, and director. She's also an ordained minister and chaplain. Let's give her a super warm welcome. Hello, Tamia. So great that you are here. How are you?
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, Paul and AJ, for having me on the show. I'm doing so well. And I know you saw today that I said, I'm still celebrating Christmas. I'm very Christmassy. I stayed Christmassy till January 7th because I actually love this season of the year. But of course, I also, happy Hanukkah, like you said. Kwanzaa, all the other New Year's is coming up, so all the other great things we celebrate during this time of the year. I just love this time of the year.
I do too. And I love how you have a super strong light about you, Tamia. You have also been you're also a U.S. Army veteran, and you're also a retired police detective. I just want to thank you from both of our hearts, Paul and mine, for your service and your beautiful light that you continue through, even through all of that, which is a lot. You still shine your beautiful light. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that because, yes, it wasn't easy, but the Lord saw me through. As you guys know, I'm a woman of faith, and I saw some dark days. I was in the Army, military police officer. And then when I got out of the Army, I also did police work with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I served there for 23 years and I retired as a domestic violence detective. So yes, I saw a lot of dark days, but it also has motivated me to tell the stories that I tell today through film and through books.
Yes, and I love that. We're going to talk about your books in a few moments, but we've got these two wonderful movie posters on screen. You starred, this is where we met, at the Move Me No Mountain premiere, Nevada Women Film Festival, Nevada Women's Film Festival. It's absolutely wonderful. You play a grief support friend in Move Me No Mountain. How did you get that part?
It pays to know the director.
So hi, Deborah. Deborah Richards.
Yes.
Hi, we love you.
It was such a joy, to work with Deborah Richards. I was very excited to work with her. She is well respected in our film community, and she's one of the lead filmmakers in our community. And Nevada Women Film Festival honored her this year. So yes, I was very excited. I've followed her films for some time. She's very talented. And I'm the type of person who I love to learn from other people. I am one of those people who is not like, oh, I know everything. I'm like, okay, I don't know anything. Show me. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, it was a joy to work with Deborah and her team.
She really is wonderful. She's absolutely, truly one of the best there in Las Vegas. She's my boss. I'm so honored to work with her. And yes, Tamia, what fun. So that was a fun role because you were in the movie. And then we also have Angel on the Roadside. Is there room for one more? You wrote and directed this, is that right?
Yes, and right now that picture is on hold because it's waiting on funding. So
Understandable.
So that particular film is on hold right now. People can look me up, 888 Spirit Productions. We'd love to move forward on that film, but right now, due to lack of funding, we have not moved forward on that film.
Well, wonderful. This is a great opportunity, don't you think, Paul, for producers or investors? What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. How can they get a hold of you? Is there a direct link, or can they go to your Instagram to find out if somebody wants to invest in your project?
Yes, they actually can. I would love to share a few of the other projects I have also, because people may want to jump on board for those too. As we spoke, I do pretty much a lot of awareness and educational films. I do dramas, but the goal, there's always a specific message to each one. Angel on the Roadside is a sci-fi, which is, one of my first delving into sci-fi with, I'm so excited about that one. But I'm also working on another sci-fi that is called The Adventures of Lexi Zara, which is about a Black woman who went on vacation to a Greek isle, only to find out, because she never knew her biological father, only to find out while on the island that her biological father is a Caucasian Greek man. So the woman was raised Black her entire life. She had no idea that she had any kind of white heritage to her. And now she wants to figure out who he is, because it turned out he went missing 1 week before she was born. So now the whole story is The Adventures of Lexi Zara, where she's in search of finding out who her father is, and his name is Andreas. So that's a film that I'm currently working on. It's written, and we're waiting for funding too. That film is going to be filmed in Las Vegas and also in Greece, because we have a Greek connection where we're going to be able to go over and film that side of her family too. So it's going to be educational, historical, because when Lexi was born, she's in her 50s. When Lexi was born, her mother and father married, and her father was Greek, as we mentioned. Her mother was an American Black woman. And at the time, it was illegal. This is something that's recent now, we hear about in the news. It was illegal for Blacks and whites in some states to marry. So it was very controversial what her mother and father had done. And unfortunately, her mother thought that her father had run off on her, that he had said, I don't want all this hassle of being married to this Black woman, and that he just ran off and left her. So that's why the mother never told Lexi who her father was, because the mother thought he abandoned her. So it's there's a lot of deepness in the story of, what Lexi's going through, what her mother went through. Where's the father? We meet the father's family. There's just it's a huge cultural movie, and it's very deep in the messages of what's going on in our times. And that's why it was so interesting that they just last week confirmed that that gays and people marrying outside of their race, that challenge of their marriage would not, how did they word it? Basically, it stands up. It's not going to be canceled.
Yes. Oh, that's so important. Yes, I know what you're talking about. And I love these messages so much, because we really are brothers and sisters, and it shows how connected we are. That's really what it's all about. And I love these things. Any stories that bring us more together, I love. What do you think, Paul? Oh, and by the way, I want to let you know, Paul's in Las Vegas, and he's a great actor. So if you ever want, him as an actor, he's right here. Take it away, Paul.
And I just started studying Greek as well. So by the time,
perfect.
Of course, I already know all the bad words, because my first mentor was the beautiful Greek man named Nicholas Papanikolaou, the coffee king of Chicago. But of course, you only learn just the bad words. So now I'm actually trying to learn the language, which I think is great, because it's the basis of other languages. So any other language I can learn is great. But I love it. Yes. And I'm here in Vegas. I'm in kind of the Summerlin area. So we should get together sometime out here. But like AJ said, I also love stories that make the world a better place, but also that explore different cultures. So I'm glad that you that this is a project that you're working on. I can't wait to see it.
Mia will be back in just a second. Paul, I'm just going to take this opportunity to interview you. You have been a longtime co-host with us, for us. And so, Paul, we met on Clubhouse, right?
Yeah, we certainly did. I'm glad that we met, AJ. You know, we're part of the new Hollywood, but also Arabian Nights and all that. What we were doing with Hamza there, who's a casting director.
Yes.
We'll have to invite him on one of these days.
Yes, I think I did originally. And, if you could get him on, that would be great. That would be wonderful.
I'll reach out to him again. Yeah, since I haven't been on Clubhouse that often, I don't see him as much, but I've been busy also with my own podcast, Paul Vato Presents. And of course, I finished up that book, The Kama Sucia, which is available. If you go to paulvato.com, you can find all that. But this is always nice, AJ. It's always nice to see. And also all the awards that we've been winning. It's been incredible. So congratulations to us.
Yes, congratulations. Merry Christmas to you as well. Paul, I sent you something from Rome, from the Vatican. They have a Roman report, and there's a beautiful little Merry Christmas tree and Feliz Navidad. Because we're both, well, you had Catholic teaching,
Sure.
and I'm Italian, so of course we have that beautiful Roman connection. We love the Pope also, in Rome, Italy. So I sent that to you as a text. Maybe you can watch it a little bit later. But Paul, you and I have been brought together. And how is you're an actor, you're a famous actor. And so until Tamia comes back, because I just sent her an invite again to come back in. Paul, you've been doing your podcast and acting. How is it going in Las Vegas?
Great. It's a great place to be, as long as you stay on top of the industry by that, so that at least so they know that you're around, because I feel like when I left LA, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But because of the pandemic and now everything is done via video, via remotely, and now it's not that big of a deal. People are now used to, so I can still submit for auditions. And if I need to be in LA, I can be there, in 5 hours. It's no different than if I was in LA, because I can either be there tonight or I can be there by tomorrow if you need me on set tomorrow. And now usually everything is kind of planned ahead, because you have to get COVID tests and whatnot. So you usually have a few days. They're like, okay, be here on Monday to get your COVID test, and then you work on Tuesday. Great. Okay, now I've got a few days to even get there, whether it's by plane or bus or drive or whatever. I can be there. So it's great being in Vegas. And, as far as living in Vegas, it's great. If you have a business, it's also very easy to do business here. And there are no personal state taxes on the state level. So I think that's a reason a lot of actors are moving here, and comedians. And, a lot of people are leaving LA. And as much as I'd love to be there, because I do love LA and the community, but it's pretty convenient to be here in Vegas. And when she comes back, we can kind of talk about Summerlin, where I'm at, which is a nice area. It was created by Howard Hughes as a masterfully planned community. So it's, parks are within walking distance. Not that I walk there, but it's available if I do want lots of green space and whatnot. So yeah, it's just a great area to be in. And Vegas has been home since 2009, 2010. So it's been wonderful.
That is amazing, Paul. Thank you so much. And you're wearing your wonderful Vato Cigars t-shirt. I want to talk a little bit about that too. You're also a wonderful businessman, and you've got many things happening. Here's one of your Vato cigars, specially hand rolled. Look at that cute little traditional sticker. I love the colors you chose. And I'll keep this forever. This is my forever cigar.
Wonderful. I'll have to send you more so that you can actually smoke one, or I'll send you a box of them, and you can always hold up the box. Like I've got a box here somewhere. So
one day I'd love to have a cigar with you and Jeff. And so Paul, I do want to say thank you so much, and Merry Christmas. You've always been there for me, and I think we're kind of lifelong friends, because we kind of watch out for each other and check in with each other and all of that. So I just want to let you know, Tamia came back on, and I invited her in but she's disappeared. So I'm not sure, what's happening. Remember, she got a brand new laptop. It's a voice activated one, and she was doing really great with it. And we all were doing great with it. But again, it's new technology and we just have to get used to it. Right, Paul?
Well, and that's it, because I love working with technology, but then sometimes you're like, I don't need this. It's let me just do it the old fashioned way, the old school way. But in the grand scheme of things, I think tech helps us, but a lot of times it can be a hindrance.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Paul, I do want to ask you, as an actor, and a producer, who would you like to work with? Other actors? You've already working with Nicolas Cage and quite a few other incredible popular comedians. Who would you like to work with as a director or actor?
Well, I mean, that's such a great question. I mean, I love working with people that I kind of came up with at the Second City, but there is a director out there, Paul Feig, who directed Bridesmaids, and it's just like a comedic genius. I think I would love to work with him. I'd love to work with any of my friends that came out of Vegas, whether it's like Seth Meyers, or people like Ike Barinholtz, or comedians like Tom Segura or Bobby Lee. But I really just ticked off one major one, which is Seth MacFarlane, because I was blessed enough to work on his show Ted. It's a new show that's coming out based on the movie Ted. So I got to work with Seth on the TV show Ted, which will be out next year.
Congratulations on that. That is fantastic. And I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. Send me a link so I can watch that. Okay, Paul?
I sure will. As soon as it's out, you'll be the first to know.
Fantastic. So excited and looking forward to that. Tamia, welcome back. And how are you, love?
Well, thank you so much for asking me how people can connect with me, because I would love to connect with anyone who's interested in being part of the film, whether they want to be an actor, whether they want to help produce, whether they want to help finance. We would love that assistance with Lexi Zara and with Angel on the Roadside. They can get a hold of me, follow me on Instagram at Tamia_Dow. So that's TAMIA_DOW. Or you can find me on Facebook. This one, I'll throw you off, under Chaplain Dow. That's CHAPLAIN Dow, DOW. And chaplain is when you talk to them and said, I'm an ordained minister. Yes, I'm an ordained minister and my title is chaplain. And as you know, my background is working with the veterans and also being part of the police. And chaplains are, we call them boots on the ground, mobile combat ministers that actually work with people in the field. They don't necessarily have a brick and mortar church. Now, I do attend the church, yet as a chaplain, I serve as a minister to people. I do weddings, I do counseling. Sadly, I do funerals, and I'm actually a little more excited now because I'm doing more weddings and funerals. But during COVID, it was the other way around. I was, officiating more memorial services than I was weddings. So yes, so those are two ways they can connect with me. And if they want to follow the everything that's going on with my production company on Facebook, 888 Spirit Productions. That's triple TRIPLE, the number 8 Spirit Productions.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Tamia. And this has been amazing. I love all the things that you have done and who you are as a person and your heart. And I wanted to ask, Paul, do you have any questions for Tamia?
No, I if anything, I just want to make a few comments as far as I love the fact that there are, that there's this great film community in Las Vegas, because like I kind of mentioned earlier, it's sometimes if you're not in LA or Hollywood, it's out of sight, out of mind. But it's nice to have a community, a homegrown community here in Vegas with the talented people that can, direct and write and things like that. So to me, I really hope that we can get your projects funded and get them going and pick up, if wherever we left off, or start filming these projects.
Excellent. I thank you for that. I actually have 11 completed short film projects that I self-funded, and I've won over 20 awards for them. So I have a story called Why Should I Care? That was about domestic violence, and Why Should I Care was focused on how so many people are, well, I don't have to worry about domestic violence. Domestic violence doesn't affect me. And usually if it's not affecting you or your family, you think it has nothing to do with or affects you. But actually in the story, I show exactly how domestic violence affects everyone, not just the person or the family that's going through it. So that one won multiple awards. The one I followed it up with was called Toxic Love. And Toxic Love is also about domestic violence and human trafficking. And it talks about a woman who is a wealthy woman and she's trapped in a domestic violence situation. She can't get out. But the interesting twist on the story was that the way she got into the relationship and got married into the relationship had to do with sex trafficking. And her husband actually bought her from a madam and married her. So that added to the reason why she couldn't get out of that violent relationship, because she felt like she was owned by her husband. So see, I tell you, I talk about really intricate issues that are current issues that are going on in our society, and a lot of people don't think about. The next one I did was Meet Me After School. Meet Me After School deals with children and cyber stalking and how children are being seduced. And it actually, this won several awards during COVID time because we had our children at home and they were all online and, you know, playing with their games and stuff online, and predators were feeding on our children, pretending to be young people just like them. Wow. So Meet Me After School was a story about capturing actually, what is it? What do you say? Getting the predators. So it was like the Catch a Predator, but it was in a dramatic form, Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then I have, you know, several other projects, but those are my three major projects that I've actually been blessed to take around the world. So I know AJ was talking about how she sees that I do a lot of traveling and things like that. I've actually taken those educational films and I've taken them to Curacao. We've gone to London with it. I've been to Costa Rica. I've been to Spain with the films, and I'm able to show the films. I'm able to do teaching because I have that expertise as a law enforcement professional and a trained domestic violence trainer to be able to actually impart not just to the community and the audiences that are there, but also to the local police agencies. And that's really been a big blessing with being able, how I can use my films.
I just love this because your background as a police detective and chaplain has helped you in the film industry. You can bring the most important messages and stories to light because you've lived it. You've seen it with your eyes, observation. You've probably filed reports. You've done counseling. You've seen it from beginning to end, the human emotions, the range of human emotions. And those make for great stories, don't they, Tamia?
Yes, they do. And these are generally a compilation of stories and experiences that I've myself experienced and that I've been able to interview and deal with, you know, hands-on experience with domestic violence victims, hands-on experience with sex trafficking victims, you know, hands-on experience with human trafficking victims, and also hands-on experience with the cyber stalking and the children issues. Because, you know, working as domestic violence, I dealt with all those aspects of those vulnerable people who are being taken advantage of, being oppressed, you know, being kept in a violent situation. And to me, my thing is, I really believe that everyone should be able to live a life free from oppression. And however I can help make that happen, I'm going to do it. And film has been really one of my vehicles to be able to do that right now.
I love that. Don't you, Paul?
Absolutely. That's what I was wondering is if you've taken any real life situations. I'm sure it must affect your work because you've been through a lot of this. So I think you kind of answered that, but yeah, were there any specific situations where something happened in real life that maybe you plan on using in one of your projects, or maybe you already did?
Yes. So the film Toxic Love Toxic Love was actually and is actually a proof of concept for another film that is a working title called The Price You Pay. And that is actually the feature length where I was talking to you about the woman who was purchased by her husband. And in Toxic Love, you don't get all of that background. I've given you a little more background, but in that, it's kind of like Toxic Love is like Crash, the movie Crash. Remember the movie Crash? It's like the movie Crash meets the movie Enough. If you remember the movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez, when she was actually a kept wife, you know, she was being beaten by her husband. And it's actually the film I actually used to use during my domestic violence trainings. I would show snippets from the Enough film to show how it was very difficult for people who were wealthy to necessarily run and get away, because it was a type of situation where you have a woman who is a wife and she may have other skills, but she's not using them because she's being a stay-at-home mom. And the man was controlling the what do you call it? The money bags for the house. And basically in the story Enough, he tells her, when after he beats her, he tells her that this is the price you pay for living such a nice life.
Wow.
So to me, that like, oh, I mean, right? That's like, oh, it was so hard for me to hear that line. And I would always teach to that line and talk about how I could help, you know, victims, women, because not only women are victim of domestic violence. I do not want people to sit out there and go, she's bashing men. I am not bashing men. Trust me, as a domestic violence detective, I know that men are victim of domestic violence, and I've helped many men get out of violent situations. Just that predominantly in our society and actually around the world, women tend to be the victims of domestic violence more so than men. Okay. So in the story, The Price You Pay, I actually, you know, AJ was asking me about, do I pull on other experiences? And yes, we deal in this story, we deal with a police suicide situation. We deal with a bad shooting by a police officer. We deal with the woman where we find out that she was actually sex trafficked, because you don't know that. We deal with recovery, because for me, I think it's so important that when you deal with a abuser and you deal with a victim, that both need counseling. And if there's children involved, the children also need counseling, because you can't try to fix one part of that and think that it's going to run well. Because when you bring a broken person back to a house that's been healed, that person will wreak havoc, because hurt people hurt people. So if we don't heal everybody involved in that situation, we don't do justice to the family. And I'm a big advocate for healthy families. And as I mentioned, I'm a big advocate for wellness and for people not being afraid to live and love, and for no one to die at the hands of someone that they love. So that is what I talk about in the movie The Price You Pay, which is also, it's a feature film and it's written. So you've had me share about 3 different feature films. And bear in mind, like I said, I've done 11 shorts, but I have 3 different feature films that I would love to see move forward. But as we know, feature films cost a lot more money to produce than short films.
Yeah, so all you wonderful investors out there and financial gurus and producers, get on the train of Tamia Dow's new films. They're exciting, they're fun. I think she's still casting maybe for a few of them. You might get a bit part in it as well. Hey, Paul. And so, you know, just check it out and get in contact with her. Send her a nice friendly text, and you can be involved in her wonderful films that she is creating and producing. You can be a part of the production team, and that is exciting and fun. So thank you so much for that, Tamia. And I want to also mention that you're a best-selling author for several books, right? Tell us about that. Tell us about those. What's your favorite book and how can people get it?
Yes, I am a best-selling author of numerous books. I'm trying to, let me see if I can do this in the small space that we have here.
Okay.
So I have my books here. You asked me what my favorite book is, and my favorite book is my individual book. Now, remember, I said I was a detective, right? Retired detective. So in this book, I ask a bunch of questions to the reader, and it's called In Celebration of You. And it's fun activities to help you rediscover you. And I'll tell you how I got sparked to create this book. It was in the process of me as a book coach, because I am a certified coach. I do life success and book coaching. And I have helped to make, or should I say, helped to assist 70 different authors to become best-selling authors. Yes.
Congratulations. That's amazing. That's phenomenal. I'm so proud of you. And, that's quite an achievement to also coach others as well, Tamia. And I just want to thank you for doing that, because support is so needed in this world. And I love how yours, our logo here is "We Celebrate You." And I love that one of your books is about celebrating the individual, the person. And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yes, I think celebration is real important. And in these books, I help people tell their stories. So each author gets an opportunity to write a chapter that's themed behind the book that we're writing at the time. So this book happened to be a book about hope. This one is our most recent. This one hit #1 in 2 hours on Amazon.
Wow.
It just literally, as they say, flew off the shelf, right? Right now in our society, forgiveness is a big, huge topic. There's so many people that are sick and making themselves sick because they refuse to forgive others. They refuse to forgive themselves. They refuse to forgive whoever they consider their higher power is, because they think that everything happened in their life because of this or something else. Forgiveness is so important. And in order for people to move on and be successful, they must forgive, because you can't work well with unforgiveness in your heart.
Yes, it's so true. And that's the basis of your faith and my faith too, because I believe in God and I love this so much. What else I wanted to talk about was, I wanted to ask you, many people, we talked a little bit about today's world, and in today's world, there's a lot of young people, Tamia, who are depressed and they're hurting and they're disappointed with the world and the environment and frustrated with it. The young people of today, they need your wisdom. What is your words of wisdom, and what would you say to them to help encourage them, the young people?
Excellent. All right. So yes, this topic actually is very close to my heart. It literally breaks my heart. I deal with it with my veterans. I deal with it with my law enforcement family. And I also, unfortunately, have had the opportunity to deal with young people taking their own lives, dying by their own hands. And the thing is, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Whatever someone may be going through right now, if you just hold on and realize that it might sound cheesy, but the sun will come up tomorrow, right? Even if it's raining, the sun has come up somewhere. Yeah. And that day is a gift that's been given to you. That day that you are able to live and breathe and make choices. I say choose life. And when I talk to these young people, I always talk to them about the future, choosing life, realizing that this is just a moment in time, and all this bullying that these kids are dealing with, that's really depressing them. I've seen families take their students out of school in order to homeschool them, to give them a healthy environment. Parents, do what you need to do to provide a healthy, nourishing environment for your young person, because we need them and we don't want them to take their lives. But unfortunately, if you look at the statistics, the people who take their lives, it's either by suicide or by accident, between the ages of 13 and 27. That's heartbreaking. That's a heartbreaking number. So that pivotal 13 is that high what is it, bullying time, that making a decision, that boyfriend, girlfriend time, first time love, all that kind of stuff that your kids are going through. And I would say make yourself available for your children to talk to. Don't dismiss anything they tell you. If they're telling you they're being bullied, take it seriously. There's also some suicide resource lines out there for you. If you are the parent of someone you believe is going to commit suicide or is thinking of suicide, do not be afraid to actually ask them. Don't think it's going to prompt them to do so. Just ask them, are you thinking of taking your life? Are you planning on taking your life? What's your plan? It may seem mean, but it may save a life because it lets them know that you care enough about them, you're paying enough attention to them, and you want to see them live a healthy life. So they have a new number, 988. You know how we use 911 when it's time for an emergency? Now you use 988 if you believe that someone is going to commit suicide, or you give it to the person and let them dial 988. But since we're talking about teenagers, let's facilitate parents. Let's be the aunties and the uncles and the moms and the dads to the village children. And let's let them know that they are loved and that there is a future and that there is hope in the future. And it's just temporary what they're going through now.
Amen and amen. What do you say, Paul? This is such an important topic. What do you say, Paul?
Yeah, I love it. It's something that, sorely needs to be talked about, and not to stereotype, but I feel, a lot of times in the, if you're a person of color or in minority, if you will, communities, it's something that's not talked about. I know that maybe it's becoming more prevalent, which is great. And like was being said, it's about the community looking out for the kids, because maybe not everyone has that support system. So I think it's wonderful that it is, there isn't that big stigma, or at least maybe there's less of a stigma now, because, culturally growing up, for me, it was just kind of like, we'll just deal with it. Your life is great compared to other people. So it's always about other people, where that's not necessarily it. It's like, well, what about what I'm going through? You're like, like my dad working 2 8-hour jobs to support his family, so it just gets easier and easier for the next generations. But, no one knows, what troubles people, and everyone has a cross to bear. So it's great that we can talk about it, and there's more support system out there. And it's great to know 988, thank you for sharing that.
Yes, 988. That's the important number to everybody out there. And I do want to say that your life does matter. Every life matters, and every life has a purpose. And please don't believe the lies that there is no hope and that that there's no consequences because we are energy, but there is there's more to us than just flesh and blood. We have a spirit and we have a soul. So I just want to let everyone out there know how important they are, each and every one. You've been given life. It's a gift, and live it to the fullest with safety and precautions and being smart, but live it and say yes to good opportunities. So that's my heart message. I'm so sorry it's gone so fast. We're going to have to do the heart messages now. Tamia, I've loved you as a guest. You're going to be my lifelong friend because I love your heart and I love who you are. You represent everything I love. And so let's go over to Paul first for our heart messages for this week. Paul, over to you.
Well, I don't know. I feel like everything was really on point today, and it's been said, but it's about, community, and it's about looking out for each other and staying safe, and all these things were mentioned earlier. But I just want to reiterate that it's that really hits close, which is it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So, if people are going through something, talk with your friends. There was that famous dancer that recently took his own life that no one saw coming, and I've seen a photo of this is what depression looks like. And it's photos of all these famous, Anthony Bourdain, Robin Williams, people that are at the top of, you think that they're at the top of their game and having this wonderful time, and then there's all these other underlying issues. So yeah, if anyone needs to chat, hey, I'm always available as well. You can just reach out to me. Go to paulvato.com and reach out to me. I'm across all social media, and I'll share my WhatsApp. And if you want to talk, I'm here for you. So thank you for giving us this platform, AJ.
I love that. So I'm going to WhatsApp you tonight, just as a backup in case I ever need a positive thought. Is that okay, Paul?
That's 100% okay. You and Tamia are more than welcome
Okay.
to reach out anytime.
Thanks so much, Paul. And over to you, Tamia, our beautiful chaplain and ordained minister, it's your life mission to bring such incredible light. And we're so thankful and grateful to you. What's your heart message for this week?
Thank you again, also, AJ, for having me here. And Paul, it's so nice to meet you. I do look forward to working with you. So my heart message is that I want everyone that's listening to realize that there is a purpose and a plan for your life. For those of you like myself that are Christians, we know that God has a divine plan for our life. Now, with that said, we have to be willing to use the talent, skills, and ability that we've been blessed with for good and in service to other people. I think this is so important. When you wake up in the morning, please focus and say, what good can I do today? Who can I bless today? How can I be a blessing in this world today? And you dedicate each day to doing that. Let your intuition, let the Holy Spirit, let yourself be aware of what the world has and how you can help. Because as we talk today, I tell you what, there's sometimes that one person just needs a word. They just need a smile. They just need an act of kindness, which may be so simple as holding open a door long enough to acknowledge that there's another person in this world besides you. You can be a blessing. And with that blessing, you may save a life. Yeah. Because someone who's walking in depression just needs to see a little bit of kindness, a little bit of recognition. Someone who says, I see you, with a smile, with the holding of the door, with a wave, saying, I see you, another human being, and I see that you are existing. Let's choose kindness. Let's choose to be a blessing. Let's choose the good every day.
Bravo and brilliant. Wow, that's a standing ovation. I would stand up, but anyway, so
I would stand up, but I'm not wearing pants, so I won't.
I was waiting for that.
Of course you were.
And I just want to thank you so much. That was so beautiful. That was just the cream of the crop. That was the whipped cream and the cherry on top for everything. It's one of the best heart messages I have heard. And I love them all, but that's one that's really up there. And also, thank you so much, Tamia, for being a wonderful guest. And thank you, Paul, so much for watching us and subscribing. Please follow Tamia Dow and Paul Vato. And until we meet again, thanks so much and au revoir for now.
God bless you all. Stay safe.